I'll be with you in a second. Just give me a second here. Oh, okay. Hello and welcome to You People. I am your host for this evening. My name is Roy Koshi. I'm just back here broadcasting from my super secret intergalactic order space station. I'm supposed to be only doing intergalactic business, but I'm cheating a little bit, so don't tell anybody. But I'm just here to talk to you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back shortly after these messages. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm all good. I'm fine. I'm just I don't know where to start. Like, what's this? There's so much to talk about to the point where like I have nothing to say. So, an employee of the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia allegedly threatened his African-American colleague with a noose at work. The unidentified employee, who operates coin-making machinery, reportedly made a noose out of rope used for coin bags, then walked across the factory floor and left it at his colleague's workstation. This incident was caught on security footage on June 28th. Everybody's horrified. U.S. Mint officials are saying their statement is, "We have absolutely zero tolerance for this kind of misconduct reported at the Mint." Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has directed that this matter be handled swiftly and seriously. The investigation is moving ahead quickly. We strive every day for a workplace environment that is welcoming and safe for all. In June, a noose was found hanging from a lamppost outside the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. May 31st, there was a noose lying on the floor inside the National Museum of African American History and Culture. There was another hanging from a tree at the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden. Nooses were also found at a frat house at the University of Maryland, a middle school in Florida, and at two high schools in separate incidences at North Carolina. A Walker, Louisiana police officer resigned after leaving a noose in the department's squad room. And then there was, at American University, bananas were hanging from nooses. I mean, look, those bananas are taking your jobs and raping your women, so I get it. And while this incident, at American University, targeted AU's chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and occurred after the first black woman and AKA member was sworn in as a student government president. West Village, here in New York City, Ottomanelli and Sons Meat Market, Joe Ottomanelli gave Victor Shepard, the black delivery driver, the noose as a gift. and he said it was a joke. He said it wasn't a hate crime, but it stressed out Shepard that he couldn't return to work. And I guess, like, according to this article, in previous deliveries, Otto Manelli had said inappropriate things. He'd said, did you know that just a few years ago black people couldn't ride in front of the bus? I don't get it. I don't fucking get it, man. Like, I don't know. Can you point every single thing towards Trump? I don't know. I really don't know. But, like, it certainly opened up. Like, this is a huge spike since November that this is all happening. People feel comfortable doing this. There is a culture that's been created that's allowed for this. I just don't fucking get it sometimes, though. I just don't. There's no reason for racism to exist even anymore at this point. Because it's like, I kind of understand, like, after the Civil War, how, like, these people who were alien and they were slaves are now, you're being asked to, like, see them as human beings. And so I kind of understand white people being like, I don't know, murder. I kind of get that a little bit, all right? This 2017, it's been a long time. No need for it. You're choosing to be. So, that, like, when people say, like, oh, racism's a disease, we should treat, like, these fucking stupid white liberals, white progressives who, like, if you call Trump supporters racist, or you say that, like, racism had anything to do with, like, his victory, oh no, it's economic anxiety, you're just demonizing these people. I think in this election, and as opposed to previous elections, I think most previous elections, including how Obama won in 2008, had to do with economic anxiety. People were, like, afraid and suffering, and so they gave, I think, like, there's a certain amount of economic anxiety, and then there's a little bit of that cultural motivation that motivates people to vote. And I think there was enough economic anxiety back then where they voted for Obama because he was promising hope and change. And, you know, is a repudiation against the Bush administration. This time around, I think, like, it was not, the economic anxiety argument does not hold up. Paradoxically, the economic anxiety, those hundreds of thousands of votes maybe, that's what cost Hillary the Electoral College. But then when you say that that's the whole thing, it was economic anxiety, you're neglecting everybody else who voted for Trump. And the average Trump voter was about making $70,000 per year. It's upper middle class. And you have these motherfuckers, I'm sorry, like, I have a master's degree and I make a lot less than that. So you have people with a high school education making $60,000. That's pretty good. So fucking, I don't know what you're complaining about. You weren't left behind. You were perfectly supported by this goddamn country. It's fucking stupid. Anyways, the economic anxiety thing, you know, oh, don't call them racist. Like, you hear, like, fucktard white liberal progressives doing that. You know, just, and it's basically like, you know, it's people of color, they're shutting down. They don't like us. They don't want us around. Let's just be fucking honest about that. They don't want us around, and it's like, we're kind of a burden. And it's like, we got this. Just listen to Bernie. You know, if you just didn't, you're making it about identity politics. Even though all of these identity politics movements throughout history in America, all these that you're decrying, the civil rights movement, the women's movement, LGBTQ movement, they have all addressed economic anxiety and class issues. And in fact, all of them have had built in, like, yes, actually, sort of these culture wars parallel to class wars. And actually, like, so for instance, keeping women from working. That is dealing with, that's fucking economics too. Because I can't make a paycheck. And it's like, so to decry identity politics, and here's another thing, Black Lives Matter has partnered with Fight for 15. I don't hear a lot of white progressives celebrating that for some reason. But anyways, like, people will sit there and say, don't call them racist. Some of them aren't racist, most of them are, okay? But racism is a disease. Oh, it's this disease. We should treat it like a disease. I'm not sure it's a disease. It's something that, like, people are choosing to do. Like, it's, okay, so looking at it from a disease perspective, racism is the only disease where everybody else dies except for the person holding the fucking disease. Like, if you have diabetes, I don't lose a fucking toe over, like, you having diabetes, you know? So I don't really buy it. I think it's intentional. I think like saying it's a disease kind of lets people off the hook. I think people are choosing, like, hatred is fun. It's wonderful. And I'll share something with you about that. Like, you know, with the spike of hate crimes, you know, and like the sort of divide in the country, and like a lot of the like out and out hatred from the right, and a lot of them doing dangerous stuff like doxing people. Now that these people are in power, they hold the highest office of the land. Every day, like, is an adventure for me. And so it's like, I'm fucking pissed right now. I'm pissed that the country went in this direction, and I'm really kind of pissed at white people. So like every day is like a kind of an adventure. You hear about these hate crimes, you see this footage all the time. There's been a couple of hoaxes in there, I admit that, but like for the most part, like I don't think this noose is a hoax. Like what I just shared, not really a hoax. So like just even getting on the subway, even just walking down the street, I'm paranoid. I'm like on guard all the time. I'm like, is this guy gonna attack me? It's a fucking event. It's like, wow, I'm like James Bond in my head. And I literally sit there like, I can be on a subway. There's this dickish like fucking white guy who has like clearly a man in his late 30s who's dressing like he's getting ready for rush week at college. And I'm always just like, all right, this guy's he's holding the handle on the subway, right, like this. I'm leaning against the door. All right, his arm's over there. I'm over here. What if he takes his arm out? What's he gonna do with this arm? How do I block that? You know, I'm like a mix of Bruce Lee and James Bond. And so like I never really agreed with like the us versus them shit. I never liked that. I think that kind of we are all one. I think human beings are human beings. But the us versus them stuff is like, it's given me like a bit of a jolt. You know, I'm always just like, okay, yeah, all right, that guy, he looks like a Trumper. All right, what do I do? Okay, I got a pen in my pocket. I got some keys. I can use that as a weapon. I don't want to get stabbed. I mean, that fucking Portland guy stabbing those two people who intervened on behalf of those two Muslim girls. And then there was that black kid who was he was just graduating. He was like an ROTC guy. I think this was in the guy's name, the assailant's name was Sean Urbanski, I believe his name was. And so, you know, he gets stabbed. I don't know how, this is, anyways, Sean Urbanski, like, he stabbed, like, a black kid. He said, like, step aside, step aside. And it was revealed later that he belonged to, like, an alt-right Facebook group. Love that, man. Twitter's being yelled at about their free speech stuff, but like, God, Facebook that's a cesspool. That's like, Facebook is weird. It's like a cesspool of hatred and racism. And then like your fucking aunt, like who's just like, oh, I just baked this cake. It's like, what? It is weird. It's like Facebook is like a kind of like family. It's sort of like very familial, very intimate. And then like you just have like this weird ugliness. It's like a family reunion. It's like a Thanksgiving dinner, like where everyone comes. People bring like, you know, it's like your aunt brings her cake, but then like there's somebody being randomly stabbed in the den, before the game. But he killed Richard Collins III, Sean Urbanski, and this was on the University of Maryland campus. And so, you can look this up. I don't know why I'm so worried about being accurate with you fucking people. You can go look all this up. I don't really care. Anyways, here's my question, and this is going to sound a little victim blamey, and I'm sorry, but how are black and brown people still getting stabbed? How is like all of us, we're just not on notice all the fucking time? Like literally the other day I was on a train and there was an old man, like an old white dude. He was about like maybe 5'2", clearly like in his 80s. He had a hearing aid and he's just coming in. He's just like, train doors open. I'm sitting down. He's coming in. He's just sitting next to me. He has his cane. And he has this look on his face, this like look of wonder, like it's kind of dementia wonder, where he's just like, he has a hearing aid, and he's just like kind of like sitting next to me with his cane, just like shaking his cane, kind of like, and he's clearly like, look, he's obviously trying to like just secure himself, but he's like, I'm getting paranoid, like by this fucking like tiny 80-year-old man that like, if I fucking accidentally like, you know, sneezed on him, he'd die. But I'm just like, fuck, what's this guy doing? I'm just constantly on alert. I just assume, like, when I'm leaving my apartment, somebody wants to stab me. We all have to just act like, you gotta start, like, thinking like you're James Bond or Bruce Lee. Or just fucking arm yourself. Take advantage of that Second Amendment. Hell. Maybe all of us, millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of us should just join the NRA and see what happens. I mean, like, you just make the change from within. You change the culture from within, you know? And you wouldn't have those shitty, like, Dana Loesch videos.
They use their media to assassinate real news. They use their schools to teach children that their president is another Hitler. They use their movie stars and singers and comedy shows and award shows to repeat their narrative over and over again. And then they use their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, make them protest, make them scream racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, bully and terrorize the law-abiding, until the only option left is for the police to do their jobs and stop the madness. And when that happens, they'll use it as an excuse for their outrage. The only way we stop this, the only way we save our country and our freedom, is to fight this violence of lies with the clenched fist of truth. I'm the National Rifle Association of America, and I'm freedom's safest place.
That was a joke. And that's like another thing, like that Dana Loesch video where she's just like, yeah, they're teaching in schools that our new president is Hitler. And she's just like, I think like there was like one guy that made the news where like he was kind of making comparisons during the campaign season to Donald Trump and Hitler, and he got into a lot of troubles like in California. Dana Loesch in this video is making this claim that like just schools across the country, just that's in their curriculum now. They're teaching in schools that their president is Hitler, another Hitler. No, they're not. Like, that's fucking weird. Like, as if, like, good morning, class. We're all going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we changed it a little bit. So just get ready. It's, I pledge allegiance to the flag, but Donald Trump is Hitler. Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. Donald Trump, 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 Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. And to Donald Trump, Hitler, Donald Trump, Hitler, Trump, Hitler, Trump, Donald, Hitler. That's not what's happening. But this weird paranoid fever dream, I don't know like who thinks this idiot is tough. Like Dana Loesch, she's like, yeah. Oh, rioting in the streets. What are you doing? Who takes that seriously? Who watches that and they're like, yeah, wow. She is really telling it. She is a tough cookie. She's telling it as it is. Okay, I better donate to the NRA. It's goofy as fuck. Like it's like bad play acting. I tell you what, I mean, I'm an actor and I've gone on many auditions. She would not survive the audition process. She was playing like a villain or something, and she'd be like, yeah, next. Not only that, not even in a professional acting capacity, just in a human capacity. Seriously, like fucking, like, what? If this idiot Dana Loesch came to TGIF for happy hour with a group of work friends or something, and she's just like, yeah, I gotta order a margarita because these black people are marching in the street and there's rioting. Wouldn't everyone just kind of be like, who the fuck is this? Whose friend is Dana here? Who, you? Is that your friend? Who invited her? Could you not do that again? Fuck, man. Who takes these people seriously? It's not tough. It's stupid. The culture right now of Trump, like, it's just Trump and his acolytes and all these fucking right-wing assholes that now are having a moment in the sun. I mean, they've been around forever, but, like, they're having, like, their fucking moment in the sun. Hopefully they don't spill too much blood before we get rid of them, finally. I just don't get it. Like, these people, what they're like, it's like it's a mix of stupidity and mean-spiritedness that everyone, for some reason, is just kind of like letting happen. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. That's why I don't believe in God. I don't fucking, what a dumb concept. Like, if there is a God, he's useless, or she's useless. But it's just that everything, there's a plan to everything, and they just observe. They're just omniscient. It's like, okay, great. Like, so God's just like God's like a peeping Tom that doesn't even jerk off to what he's peeping at. That's really helpful. That's awesome. That's great. No, that's really special. So, why do I give a shit about this stuff? A lot of it is that, like, having a certain skin color. Now, I'm a person of color. You may have noticed. Having a certain skin color is already dangerous now. For no reason. Like, it puts you in a danger. Like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm not using my skin color to, like, molest kids or anything. Like, I'm not, you know, like, my skin color can't magically strangle your grandmother. My skin color can't give you cancer. You know, my skin color can't, like, you know, it can't, like, you know, give off, like, a vaporized, like, you know, annoyance to anybody either. Like, I can't, like, it's not like if I'm in the room with a white person, my skin color doesn't do that magical thing of, like, somehow, like, forming a hand in front of your face and being like, I'm not hitting you, I'm not hitting you, I'm not hitting you. So, you know, but somehow, like, it's not, I think, like, my ethnicity, my skin color is one of the most boring things about me, but it's a problem for everybody else. And so, like, growing up in Texas, like, you know, very early on, I remembered, like, being, like, very hyper aware, because I went to, like, a very white school in a white neighborhood, and, like, I was the only person with different skin than everybody else. Everybody else had, like, this peachy, pinky skin associated with white people, and so I had this very dark skin, and I was like, what the fuck happened to me? What's going on? Why? You just, like, as a kid, you're very aware of all that stuff. The only awareness that other kids had of other skin colors was black. So everyone thought that I was black. In fact, I remember very early on, this is like in kindergarten, you know, people said that I was black, and then, like, I went home and I was like, you know, so we're black. I said that to my parents, like, oh, so we're black, right? And my parents were like, no, we're brown. We're not black. And I went back to school and I was like, hey, I'm not black, I'm brown. And the other kids are like, no, you're black. And then, like, you know, maybe, like, a little bit later in elementary school, I start being called a nigger. It's like, you know, hey, nigger, you know, all that. And so, like, I'm sort of, like, absorbing, like, that hit for black people. So black people, when you get your reparations, you need to give me a little bit of a kickback on that one. Just a little bit. Just, like, I don't know, I'll take a gift card. Anyways, so it's kind of already at an early age, you realize you're different. Okay, it's fine to be different. But then, like, oh, you're in danger now. You're in fucking dangerous territory because you're different. Okay, well, what can I do to stop that? I can't, like, I'm not, like, a chameleon. I can't fucking, like, blend in. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just in danger. You're just fucked. So then, like, you know, as you go through life, you try to just, you know, I don't have an accent. I was born and raised in America, and, like, I'm kind of I'm very white on the inside. Like, I like mayonnaise and Swiss cheese and shit like that, and I like white culture and all that, you know. I like everything. I have very eclectic tastes, but, you know, it's like I'm boring white dude on the inside. So you kind of like start to like try to hide a little bit. Like you like, oh, I better like not bring attention to my skin color, and I'll just be myself. I'm clearly an American. I walk and talk like an American. I have American references. I absorb American culture. I'm not like walking around, pushing like fucking, the Diwali festival on people. So it's always just been a weird issue. It's been this low-level hum for me throughout my life. So even like when people like, not only just white people, but other people, when they're just like, well, where's your family from? I'm just like, oh, you caught me, fuck. No, I'm not doing anything. They're not from anywhere. Why would you think that they're from somewhere else? It's not like they're from India or anything. So, it's this weird issue, and so people already draw a line between you and them, and maybe they're not doing it in a mean way. They're not trying to hurt you when they're doing that, but they're drawing that line. So now you put on top of that like, no, you're in danger. I'm going to threaten your life now. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make sure that you don't live. I need to kill you because of my disease of racism. I'm suffering from racism. Good. Kill yourself, fucker. So I think that's why like it kind of gets to me a little bit. Yeah, that's it. We're back from commercial? Okay, great. And hello, we are back. Welcome back to you people. And you know what? We are out of time, but I just want to thank everybody for watching and joining us, and have a great evening.
Welcome to Ace Rodney, Big Talks for the Superstars. Tonight, great guest, the incredible